This construction site used to be a comedy venue. This condo used to be artist studios. And this chocolate shop used to be a performing venue until they were evicted.
They wanted to increase our rent by 50%. And we were like, we absolutely cannot afford that. And then eventually we decided that we would try to make it work with a 50% increase. And then we realized that it was a bluff because they still then would not allow us to stay.
In just 10 years, the city of Vancouver has lost 400,000 square feet of art spaces, enough to fill 2.5 BC places. It's an often overlooked impact of the housing crisis. As land values skyrocket, art spaces are being pushed out.
The operational costs of running a building and the rent have increased exponentially over the last 15 years. So there's like a pressure pot that's just about to go off.
Artists often need physical spaces, like studios, galleries, rehearsal spaces, and performing venues. It's spaces like these that enable art scenes to grow and bring creativity and life to the whole city. Exciting local bands, cool festivals, provocative gallery shows, people with funky glasses, art. In Vancouver, over 3/4 of artists are under threat of being displaced due to rent increases or redevelopments. So is British Columbia doomed to be mid-ish Columbia? Well, a local arts organization is proposing a radical solution to this problem, a cultural land trust, an entity that would acquire and manage land specifically for arts spaces, offering stable rents, long-term leases, or pathways to ownership for arts organizations, especially for artists who are Black, Indigenous, or people of color. This land trust could also redevelop its properties to grow its impact. For example, it could build both non-market housing and art spaces to share costs and generate revenues for future growth. How would that all be decided? Well, the land trust would be run by an independent charitable organization with a board that has representation from tenants and members of the general arts community. It's a model that's being used by similar land trust initiatives in cities like London, Austin, and Seattle. The organizers are looking for $15 million in seed funding to acquire the land trust's first properties.
$15 million is really just a start. It's not enough to buy all the space where nonprofits are facing displacement, but it will be used to seed funding to secure about 6 properties that we could use strategically to expand and to grow.
At the end of the day, I think this push for a cultural land trust is an indicator that we may need a different approach to supporting arts in our cities. As long as land values keep on rising, traditional grants and funding for artists are increasingly just going towards paying higher and higher rents to private landlords. A cultural land trust is trying to address this issue at its root. If we want to create stable and nurturing spaces for art in our cities, it might be most effective to acquire the land outright.